Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. I'm Reed Price. I'm the director of the Senior Community Center, and I am grateful to have Liz Litzler and Katie Wilson here today to talk about the upcoming Quilt Festival. The Modern Quilt Guild is about to hold a wonderful festival, as they do annually in downtown Winslow, and we'll hear about that in a minute. I want to thank Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, though, for sponsoring Something to Talk About. Fieldstone offers independent living, assisted living, and memory care up on Rolling Bay. They also have day stay and respite programs. If you'd like to learn more, take a tour, and I'll even treat you to lunch or dinner, call Sierra Wood or Randy O'Neill, and the phone number is 206 594 1010. You can also find out more by going to fieldstonecommunities.com. I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering today on the ancestral homeland of the Suquamish people, the people of the clear salt water who have lived on the waters of the Salish Sea since time immemorial. We honor them and we are learning from them about how to be better stewards of these lands and waters. So let's start, Katie, with you, if you don't mind. You can tell us a little bit about the Quilt Festival, what it is, and what people could expect to see if they are not already familiar with it.
Sure. The Quilt Festival, we are going on our 13th year. We hold a annual, as you said, festival at Winslow Green. There are over 200 or so quilts each year that are submitted by members of the Bainbridge Island Modern Quilt Guild, as well as other local guilds and community members. And we accept any quilts. They don't have to be modern quilts. And it's really just a chance to showcase the beauty and unique art form that is quilts and celebrate that each year.
Great. Yeah, what a wonderful run you've had and are continuing to have. It's a gift to the whole community to see this fabric artwork. Liz, can you tell us a little bit about some of the kinds of quilts that people might expect to see?
Yeah, I think you definitely will see plenty of more modern-ish quilts, but we also have modern traditional quilts, so using very traditional blocks, but potentially using different kinds of fabric or colors that have a more modern feel to them. But we also have lots of quilts that have very traditional vibes using very traditional blocks. So any kinds of we actually, I was going to say, we also have had some even vintage quilts that people have shared that have never been shared on the island before, where someone had a quilt handed down through the years and wanted to share that kind of thing. We have quilts by kids sometimes that come in. We love supporting young quilters as well. And the sizes can vary very broadly. So we have some that are as big as 90 by 90 inches, so a very large bed quilt, to something that's closer to 24 by 24 inches or even smaller. So it's a very wide range. You find there's something for everyone, really.
All right, some quilts that you would expect to see big enough to put on a bed, others that are definitely designed for hanging, and everything in between.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and I think traditionally people think of quilts as a blanket for a bed. And I think visiting the festival is a chance to see, how far, some of the quilts can take that and really transition it into more of a true art piece.
Yep.
And you said that there are other quilt guilds in the area that participate. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how you do that outreach and how you came to think of this as a regional opportunity, I guess?
Yeah, so part of the Bainbridge Island Modern Quilt Guild, our charter is to focus on outreach and engaging the community. And so one of the ways we do that, probably the biggest way we do that is through our festival. And so we invite the guilds in the area, the Seattle Modern Quilt Guild, the Kitsap County Quilters. Liz, throw out some other guild names.
Yeah, There's some swim guilds and others that are in sort of the broader Kitsap Peninsula area. Even we've had in the past Quilters Anonymous, which I think is a more PNW broadly Seattle-ish area, but not just the city of Seattle. I think there's someone from Portland that's it, like it really can draw a wide range of folks. One of our registrants this year comes all the way from I think they're from Indiana, but they happen to be in town and like, this is a thing they're bringing their quilt to show in the festival. So it's very exciting.
That's great. And when you talk about modern versus traditional quilts, um, what might, I mean, part of it I'm sure is are the patterns, but also maybe some of the ways that the quilts are put together.
It is. Do you want to talk about that one, Liz, or do you want me to?
You can start. Yeah.
So I think the difference between modern and traditional kind of falls into a couple of different categories, color being one of them. I think people have kind of a sense of what a traditional color palette is. A modern quilt guild might turn that a bit on its head and use less traditional colors, or maybe colors that are more surprising to put together. They might also take the scale of blocks. And so a traditional star that would be 12 by 12, a modern quilt might, blow that up to just be one large star on the block. The use of negative space is often seen in a more modern quilt. So as opposed to, just a series of rows, you might really just have one big feature element with a lot of negative space around it.
The other thing I would add is that there is a trend towards improvisation in modern quilting. And so sometimes, a lot of times, we're not even working from patterns. We are creating it sort of as we go, and we use a design wall, which is kind of like a piece of batting, basically, you stick on your wall, and then you can play with the blocks that you're making and see what the right look is for them and how you want to move them around to make it become the work of art that you really want it to be. Um, and I think there's one other, so at the show, there's also these different groups of quilts. So we have, for example, this past year we had a sew along. So a bunch of our members all made the same pattern, but we all made it in different colors and structures. And so you get to see sort of how one pattern can look very different across the, different artists' take on it.
Great. And it must take a lot of people to put something like this together. Can you talk a little bit about the effort that goes into arranging, organizing, and hanging these quilts?
Whew.
And and you're in the middle of it now.
Indeed, it's heavy, hot and heavy right now. Yeah, it takes a village for sure. And Katie and I are the co-chairs of the festival this year, and we were last year as well. We took it over from many Kathy Dwyer, who for many, many, many years, for the first 12 years basically organized it. But we have a whole team of people who support this work, who lead different aspects of it. And then we have on the day of the festival, we have a lot of volunteers that come and volunteer 2 hours of their time to help us, make it come off and make sure all the quilts are safe on the day, and all of those kinds of things. So we are super grateful to all those folks who help us put this on. Did you
So
want to add anything, Katie? Oh.
I was just going to say, really we start preparing for the festival, in October. We start thinking about the next year's raffle quilts. So we raffle a quilt off each year. It's kind of our fundraiser to support the festival each year. And so we start having conversations about what the next year's raffle quilt will be. All of the members of the guild come together and help to sew that quilt as a group. And then, come next spring, we will start gathering our volunteer and teams for each of the different kind of tasks that is involved with the festival. And all the way up until, Friday. We will start collecting the quilts and setting up the scaffolding, and then the teams will be there at 6:30 in the morning on the green, starting to put the quilts up so that they are ready for the public at 10.
Right. The event is Saturday,
Yeah.
this September 13th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you mentioned that there is a raffled quilt that helps raise money for the guild
Yeah.
and for the effort.
For the
Yes.
festival, really, yeah. Mhm.
For the festival, yeah. And so we have been at First Fridays for the last several months, and people may have seen us. You could buy raffle tickets there, and then raffle tickets will also be available the day of the show. And they are
Great.
$2 a ticket, and it gives you a chance to win the raffle quilt.
Great. That's a wonderful way. And then the other thing, as I recall, is that people who attend can call out quilts that they particularly like, sort of a viewer's choice or whatever. Tell me about that, please.
Yeah, so each person that comes to the show gets a ballot, basically, where you get to write the number of your favorite quilt. And then at the end of the festival, we tally all of those up, and the top three winners get a gift card to one of the local quilt shops, on behalf of the Quilt Guilds. So it's just a fun way to, engage with the quilts. We also have a couple other engagement activities at the festival, including something for kids. So we'll have a little, some pictures of parts of the quilts that they can seek and find, and kind of we'll have a little activity sheet for them to find the bits on the quilts that are on this sheet. And then we also have some opportunities just in general for people to learn about quilting and like how quilts are created and structured, and play with potentially, putting together a block and like what they might put together.
Great. And if someone was interested in learning more about the guild itself, if this sparks the idea that, hey, I used to quilt, or I would like to learn how to quilt, you're interested in getting to know those people too. Tell me
Um,
about that.
yeah, absolutely. Katie, do you want to talk about that since I just spoke?
Yeah, sure. So you can find out more information on our website, Bainbridge Island Modern Quilt Guild, and we are always seeking new members. We are going to offer a special if you choose to join the guild at the festival. We're going to waive the cost of membership for the rest of the year, so you get a couple of months free. And we meet the second Sunday of each month, with the exception of the third Sunday,
May.
sorry, with the exception of May.
So the third Sunday
It's,
of each month.
oh, it is the second
The
Sunday.
second Sunday, with the exception of May.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Okay. And I was also going to ask you, there's a sort of an accompanying separate activity, Creative Threads, that's going on at the same time. Can you share anything you know about that?
Yeah, we've been collaborating a little bit with Arts and Humanities Bainbridge with their Creative Threads Festival. They had their inaugural year last year, and they were in the Marge Williams Center parking lot. And now this year they're going to be closer to our festival right across the street in the Eagle Harbor Congregational Church parking lot. And they have a bunch of booths of creators, and they're also going to have activities. They're going to have sales of things, which, we don't have a play. I mean, some of the quilts are for sale at the festival, but it's not the norm necessarily. It's not like there's a booth. So yeah, it's a very uh it's a great sort of parallel festival that happens in
Concert
conjunction
or
with
in
ours.
conjunction, yes.
Yeah, in
And
conjunction.
it's going to make for a great, I mean, there are lots, it's going to make for a wonderful day to wander through. I
Yeah.
hope that the weather holds up. We were talking before we started about the forecast, which is always something on your mind, but we're gonna do our best with positive vibes to make sure that it's more of a threat than a reality.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to add? I will add a link to the to your website to the description that will accompany this video and audio.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if people aren't interested in joining our guild, we also have a newsletter that we send out a few times a year that just sort of generally shares about what's going on. So there's also a place on our website for folks to join that newsletter. So yeah, and I mean, there's really just I don't know. I think it's beautiful to see quilts outside and like what an opportunity in this wonderful community that we're in to be able to support the arts and support our makers and quilters and artists in this way. So
Well, and
thank
thank you both for the hard work that you do to sign up to be co-chairs, in addition to loving to quilt, doing the work to help us all enjoy your artwork.
wonderful. Thank you for this
There you go.
opportunity.
Yeah.